If you're looking to use Egyptian cotton on your next project, you're in the right place. I absolutely love Egyptian cotton. It's one of my favourite Dulux shades. It's also one of the most popular. It's a yellow based paint which is perfect for a whole range of rooms and bringing a really warm and neutral finish to it. So if you're interested in using this in your next project, join me as I share some of the best colours to use with Egyptian cotton, as well as some of the best ways to use Egyptian cotton in your next. So before we get started, let's have a look at what colours go really well with Egyptian cotton. It's going to really help you in your next project and so you can plan out your colour scheme. So Egyptian cotton is a warm neutral and it's been described as looking like a greige, even a sage green and yellowy in certain lights, and this is why I always encourage you to buy a tester pot before purchasing, as it can look really different in different rooms. Now if you have a north facing room, Egyptian cotton is also a really great choice for you, but I'm also going to put my link below where I discuss loads of different north facing paint colours from Dulux that are really good. And why it's so good for a north facing space is because it has those yellow undertones, and yellow undertones are what are going to help counteract the blue light that comes into a north facing room. It's going to really balance out the light and make it feel a little bit warmer. So what colours go well with Egyptian cotton? I'm only going to keep this really brief because I have a blog post on all of this topic as well, which I'll link below. So firstly, you can choose to pair it with tonal based colours. So Egyptian cotton is yellow based, so of course you can choose to introduce other yellow based colours, honeys, caramels, or anything with those warm brassy accents. For me, it's a little bit too sunshine yellowy, and I look to introduce earthy neutrals into the equation instead. Now earthy neutrals is a really popular colour scheme to go with Egyptian cotton. Now we're talking everything about sage green, olive greens, taking some browns into the equation, beiges and even whites as well if you want to create a really crisp contrast. Now of course white is a very classic combination. You might want to use white on a ceiling with Egyptian cotton on your walls in a living room because it's going to draw the eye up and it's going to make your living room feel that slightly bit bigger than it actually is. It's also a much better alternative to a bright white. It's not going to show every mark, every piece of dirt and every scratch the walls ever come into contact with, and because it's a little bit warmer as well, it's not going to be feeling flat or lifeless in a north facing space or a really small narrow room with little to no natural light. But what I love about Egyptian cotton is it is such a versatile colour. So you might want to keep with those neutrals, but also it does go really well with other bold statement making shades. Now I'd always actively encourage you actually do use a black accent in your room. It's not going to make your room feel any darker. A black accent is perfect in tying a space together. It's going to give that room some much needed definition to avoid the colours floating in a space, which can become a problem if you're using lots of beige and warm neutrals. Your black accent's going to tie the space together, it's going to bring a touch of modernity, but more importantly it will define the room. Now we're only talking about a few well placed black accents, so that could be door handles, which is what we use in our property, or it could be you know, black handles on a cabinet, black sockets and switches, or even some small decor accessories such as a black frame on a print or a black vase. So it's really simple to incorporate and it looks so good in an Egyptian cotton colour scheme. But as well as black, it does go really well with colours such as navy blue, deep olive greens, even mustard yellow if you want that pop of yellow in your space. But also I really like the addition of warm rusty tones such as terracotta. You can be really experimentative with your colour scheme in Egyptian cotton, but of course lots of people do choose to use it as a warm neutral and creating a very neutral living space. But please do take my advice and use a black accent in your space. It's going to make the room look so much better and it's going to stop everything from floating. So now we know what colours work really well with Egyptian cotton, I want to share some of my favourite living room ideas that I've seen with using Egyptian cotton on the walls. So let's get stuck in.
Coming in at number 1, we have this gorgeous half wall panelling look, and what I love about this is it's perfect for bedrooms, living rooms and hallways. The Egyptian cotton really grounds the base of the panelling, brings a really warm neutral to the living room, and if you add a bright white above it or a lighter neutral, it's just going to draw the eye up, making the living room look that little bit bigger than it actually is. Don't want to use paneling or a dado rail to separate colour in your living room, just simply doing a half painted wall is a great alternative. It's going to bring greater visual interest and you can choose where you want that secondary colour to go on your wall. I love the black addition here, it draws the eye up and it adds further definition to the space. Create a gorgeous feature wall in your living room. It looks amazing with chunky style shaker paneling just like this. It lends itself to that really country rustic look, and especially when it's painted with Egyptian cotton, it brings that really warm, neutral and lovely gorgeous feel to a living space. A dado rail or a picture rail is hugely popular in traditional style interiors. It's a great way to separate colour, and especially when you position it 2/3 up the wall like this and you add a bright white above it, it's designed to draw the eye up. It brings a beautiful contrast and it's going to make your living room feel that little bit bigger. Remember when I mentioned about adding black accents to an Egyptian cotton colour scheme? Now this is how amazing and simple it can really look. There's a few well placed black accents on the cushions, the door and the photo frames. It ties the room together and it looks amazing against this warm neutral. There's a very traditional style of panelling called wainscoting. It looks amazing in period properties, traditional style interiors. You can do it floor to ceiling if you want to like this, and it looks so good with Egyptian cotton. Lastly, you can choose to create focal points like this behind shelves. It adds a thoughtful touch to a living room and extra visual interest, and otherwise it would look like the shelves are floating. The Egyptian cotton looks really warm behind it and it's really grounded the space. So those are some of my favourite Egyptian cotton colour schemes and ideas for using in a living room. But of course you could replicate this across all rooms in your home, through hallways, bedrooms and beyond. Now Egyptian cotton really is such a versatile colour from Dulux. It's a popular colour for a reason, and it's such a favourite that you can really use in any interior scheme, from your more traditional to your modern rustic and even contemporary home schemes. Now just remember, do get a tester pot before you commit to using it in your home, because it can look really different on your laptop, to your phone and of course in your room where light differs during the day. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video today. If you've got any other questions about Egyptian cotton, perhaps using it in your colour scheme, you want some advice, please leave me a comment below. I love reading your comments and I'll come back to you straight away. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed today's video and I'll see you on my next one.